The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Rennek from the Arcturus Dominion finished his impassioned speech. His 6 tentacles settled back to his sides as he returned to his hovering platform. And so, first speaker Talia concluded, her crystalline form shimmering under the chamber's light, we have reached consensus. The species from Sol 3, these humans, will be granted observer status only. They are too unpredictable, too violent in their brief history, and far too primitive technologically to warrant full membership. The chamber, with representatives from over 300 advanced civilizations, hummed with agreement. Most species had taken millennia to achieve faster-than-light travel. Humans had barely spent a century in space. Their application for protection against Venturi expansion into their neighboring systems is denied, Talia continued. The Venturi have had claim to these regions for centuries. Humans must learn to navigate galactic politics like everyone else. Ambassador James Wilson sat quietly at the small observer's platform, his weathered face betraying no emotion as the Council dismantled Earth's petition. The humans had been discovered only 15 years ago when a Mavenian scout ship detected their primitive radio signals. First contact had been peaceful but condescending. Just humans, whispered a reptilian diplomat to his neighbor. What did they expect? Wilson tapped his communication device once. A simple signal. Earth had prepared for this outcome. 3 days later, First Speaker Talia was interrupted during routine proceedings by an urgent message from the outer defense perimeter. Madam Speaker, the security chief's voice echoed through the chamber. Unidentified vessels have appeared at the edge of Council space. They're coming through rifts in space. Thousands of them. The central display activated, showing a section of space near the Orion arm. Swirling tiers in the fabric of reality were opening, not using the established hyperlane network all Council species relied upon, but something else entirely. Impossible, muttered the Ventari ambassador. No species can navigate outside the lanes. The camera zoomed in on the emerging fleet. The vessels were sleek, asymmetrical with distinctive blue energy signatures. They formed precise geometric patterns as they emerged, a display of coordination that caused several military advisors to shift uncomfortably. We're receiving a transmission, announced the communications officer. The chamber display changed to show a woman in a simple blue uniform, silver streaks in her dark hair, standing on what appeared to be a command bridge. This is Admiral Frost of the Earth Defense Fleet. We request an emergency session of the Galactic Council regarding the immediate cessation of Ventari aggression in the system's neighboring Sol. Our diplomatic channels have been exhausted. Talia recovered first. This is some trick. Humans don't possess this technology. Wilson finally stood from his observer's seat. Perhaps I can clarify, First Speaker. All eyes turned to the human ambassador as he walked calmly to the central podium. For 15 years, we've observed your protocols, applied through proper channels, and been dismissed at every turn. The Ventari have attacked 3 of our outposts, believing us defenseless. You called us primitive because we showed you what we wanted you to see. The display split to show the fleet again. The vessels were arranging themselves in a precise formation that spanned several light minutes, an impossible feat without advanced coordination technology. What you're witnessing is the Ellis Drive, Wilson continued. Named after its inventor, it allows travel through dimensional space rather than hyperlanes. We discovered it 50 years ago but kept it hidden. Your species rely on hyperlanes like ancient roads. We built our own paths. The Ventari ambassador stood abruptly. This is an act of war. They threaten the Council itself. Admiral Frost's voice cut through the chaos. We seek no conflict, but neither will we allow our colonies to be raided while bureaucracy grinds on. The fleet will hold position until our concerns are addressed. Tactical displays showed more details of the human ships. No external weapons were visible, but their energy readings suggested capabilities far beyond what humans had previously demonstrated. The Council erupted into panicked discussions. Species that had dismissed humans as barely spacefaring were suddenly confronted with a force that had bypassed every defensive measure in the known galaxy. Wilson's voice remained calm. We could have arrived in the heart of your territories if we wished. Instead, we chose to demonstrate our capabilities while respecting your space. We still seek peaceful relations, but as equals, not as subjects. First speaker. Talia's crystalline form flickered with stress patterns. Why the deception, Ambassador? Why pretend technological inferiority? Wilson smiled slightly. Earth has a long history of stronger powers exploiting those they perceive as weaker. We learned from our own mistakes. We wanted to understand the true nature of the Galactic Council before committing ourselves. The tactical officer's voice cut in. Madam Speaker, analysis confirms these vessels could reach any council world in minutes through these rifts. Our defensive grid is irrelevant against such technology. Talia conferred briefly with her advisors before addressing the chamber again. The council will reconvene in 1 hour to discuss the human petition with renewed perspective. As representatives filed out in shock, the Arcturus ambassador approached Wilson. You played a dangerous game, human. Wilson nodded. We had hoped for peaceful integration, but history taught us to prepare for alternatives. Your dismissal of our concerns left us no choice but to reveal our true capabilities. Just humans, the Arcturan repeated the phrase mockingly. I believe that assessment requires revision. Back on the flagship horizon, Admiral Frost ended the transmission and turned to her officers. Phase 1 complete. Let's hope diplomacy works from here. Her second-in-command nodded. And if not? Frost looked out at the assembled fleet, just one of 5 such forces Earth had prepared. Then the galaxy learns why isolation sometimes breeds innovation rather than stagnation. But let's give peace every chance first. The Ellis drives hummed quietly, ready to tear new pathways through reality if needed. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as supplicants but as equals. The Council would adapt, or they would learn that underestimating just humans was perhaps the greatest miscalculation in galactic history.